I'm Bridget Phetasy, and this is your dumpster fire for the week of December 5th to December 11th.
And the unicorns dance while the world burns, world burns. World burns.
Before we get going, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Locals. Locals is for independent creators like yours truly. It's a great place for you to go if you are an independent creator and you want to grow your audience, get subscribers, be in control of all of your data. You have all the tools you need to publish, operate, and grow all in one place. If you're not a creator, it's a great place to go to support your favorite creators like yours truly. We are there, hosted at Phetasy.com on Locals. Go and subscribe. You get the unedited version of Dumpster Fire there. And also just a great community of people. Find your like-minded Dumpster Fire friends. Go to locals.com and check it out.
We're starting off with canceled.
Canceled. I feel like we haven't done that one in a while.
We haven't.
We haven't.
While some Democrats promote the term Latinx, the Hispanic community has not embraced it. According to a new poll, only 2% refer to themselves as Latinx, while 68% call themselves Hispanic and 21% favor Latino or Latina.
I feel like they've written 20 articles about this. How many articles do we need where the Latino community, Latin community is like, please stop calling us Latinx, Latinx. They've been begging us. And yet it reminds me of that Louis C.K. bit where he's like, how arrogant are we? We came to North America, Columbus, and was like, is this India? And they're like, no. You're Indians.
When we came to America, it was so nice. It was just Indians, and they weren't even Indians. We called them that by accident, and we still call them that.
I feel like it's the same kind of just colonization of a language and a people where you're like, you guys are Latinx. They're like, no, we don't actually like that or identify that way. And they're like, you're Latinx. Sorry. And it's, of course I don't like it. It sounds like a solution to constipation. Latinx.
Yep. And 40% said the term actually bothers or offends them to some degree. And 30% said they would be less likely to support a politician or organization that uses the term.
Well, good. Maybe that's how they'll stop using it. Watch how quickly they stop using it when they realize that it's losing them votes. And Latinx is another thing that you hear. And that just sounds like a dollar store cleaning solution.
Latinx.
Latinx.
I just think of like a strip club.
I think of some sort of fairy.
Latinx. We looked up where the term came from, and it was because it was for the non-binary community who didn't identify as either male or female, as a way the queer community basically said, you know, like in the early aughts, said that this was a way that they felt like they could be identified. But now by just applying that to the entire Latin community, you're saying like they're all queer?
Or gender non-binary.
Or non-binary? No wonder they hate it. Yes, I'm sure Abuela with the Virgin Mary statue on her television loves the term Latinx. She has no idea what it is. She's like, who are they talking about when they hear this? Stop using this. If you're just like a woke white person who's using this term to try and be whatever, you're not doing your party any favors. In fact, you're hurting it.
Then we've got sprained my eyes. Hillary Clinton chokes up as she reads part of the victory speech she hoped to deliver in 2016.
And as hard as it might be to imagine, your daughter will grow up and become the President of the United States. I am as sure of this as anything I have ever known.
Sam, I'm going to let you deliver the joke because it was your joke and it was a great one.
It was classic.
I was like, this is like reading your wedding vows when the man you loved left you at the altar for the hussy next door.
I just appreciate the word hussy in any kind of sentence. But it is. This is like reading the eulogy of your husband who's not dead yet. This was just so sad. I feel like, and I got so many people yelling at me, but I'm like, we've been through another election and a pandemic, and Hillary is still talking about this election that she lost. It just seems so pathetic. And the woman has no shame, clearly.
This was what I intended to say if I had been elected in 2016.
And the whole thing ended up being an advertisement for her new master class, which is out.
Yeah.
AKA How to Get Away with Murder. Master class on how to keep a straight face when you know your husband is a pedo. When he's on board the Lolita Express. Master class on how to be a shameless politician with no soul.
I'm Hillary Rodham Clinton, and this is Masterclass.
It's actually a masterclass on the power of resilience. That's what it's titled as.
This is just sad.
Like crying 6 years later.
I was
however long
like,
it's been.
does this mean she's running?
She's running.
I know. When I saw it, I'm like, she's running. Great. That would be my fucking nightmare if we had Trump, Hillary.
Oh, God. No, it would never happen again. No.
I would actually take my life.
She would not.
This is a masterclass on how to come in second.
In this lesson, I'm going to face one of my most public defeats head on.
Which is appropriate considering that women everywhere are going to have to learn how to come second to men in all fucking competitions.
Leading us to Patriarchy So Crafty. UPenn transgender swimmer continues to dominate the season with more record-breaking wins.
The patriarchy so crafty. Pretty soon, all of the women's records will be held by biological men. I mean, it's really genius when you think about it. They just took over womanhood and they're like, excuse me, ladies, you need to take a back seat to our womanhood. And as somebody who yesterday had to get a boob scanned and has a baby sitting on my bladder, I take offense to this. Women! Women! What is this? Like Alexander wept because he had no more lands to conquer, and so he had to conquer womanhood. Are men just like bored? They don't have enough wars and video games, and now they're trying to take over? This is crazy, and I have to ask the question, how are you as a trans woman who's kicking these women's asses in sports okay with this?
Yeah.
Like, how are you telling yourself that this is okay? It's truly like you have to either be mentally ill or a piece of shit.
When you
I don't
know the
understand.
kind of biological advantage that you have.
How are you okay with beating women like by 38 seconds? How do you go home and you're like, that was a fair win? Woo!
I am so good at women's sports.
God.
38 seconds, baby.
Patriarchy is so crafty, they'll turn themselves into women and tell women they're more women than women. I'm turning into a like radical feminist.
She's
You really
The
are.
trans rights activists have done more to turn me into a radical feminist than the radical feminists ever did.
Yeah.
And they've tricked women into co-signing this shit.
Right, because if you're not on board with it, you're automatically shunned and like slapped with the label of
bully.
transphobia.
Yeah. Co-signing their own
Demise.
This is the patriarchy so crafty.
It is truly crafty.
This will stop when women start beating men at men's records. Like when a transgender woman beats Michael Phelps's record and it's like, a woman beat Michael Phelps's record. Men are going to be like, all right.
Whoa,
Hold on.
Whoa. Can we get an asterisk on that, please?
Enough. This is like when the Lakers won during the pandemic. I need an asterisk. Honestly, it makes me crazy.
Well, continuing.
Everyone's okay with this. Like, we should not be normalizing this.
I know. I don't.
Just stop normalizing it. Be okay with being called a transphobe. It's not cool. Like,
You can still support people who want to transition and still support trans women and all of that stuff, but I think this is ridiculous.
There needs to be a line. Like, we have women's spaces and women's sports for a reason. Speaking of which,
here we go. Gender-neutral restroom signs are posted in Chicago public schools in the name of equity.
these poor fucking teenage girls.
Oh,
I hate it. Even younger girls.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
It's so awkward being a teenager in general. Male, female, non-binary, whatever the hell you want to identify as. Don't really care. But being a teenage girl when you're going through puberty around boys, they used to come up to me and snap my bra. They would do like all kinds of shit. I can't imagine I would hide in the bathroom from these disgusting teenage boys. Teenage boys are disgusting. They shouldn't be allowed anywhere, particularly around young teenage girls.
I mean, if you need to do this, make one bathroom gender neutral. What is the need to make them all gender neutral so you can still have a place to go hide if you're a girl?
I don't understand any of it. I hate the whole world. This is just, I really feel like I'm broken this week. The episode should be titled Broken Bridget because I feel like the world is breaking me down with this insanity.
They're, taking like tampons and feminine products and tossing, it's just very uncomfortable.
Have a 5-year-old girl going to the bathroom with a
10-year-old
12-year-old boy.
Yeah, and girls are holding their pee all day long because they're too uncomfortable to go into the bathroom. I don't know. I'm not okay with this. I just can't stand how everyone's co-signing this. And meanwhile, who's going to suffer? Women.
And doing it in the name of the good of the children when it's actually probably traumatizing them.
These kids are so fucked up. I can tell you from knowing of people who work with the teenage population, the teenagers are losing their minds. They're freaking messed up, and none of this helps.
Yeah.
This makes it worse.
All right. And then finally, we have taking Viagra cuts the risk of Alzheimer's by up to 69%, according to a new study.
69.
Nice.
69, dudes!
This is again so let's make a boner pill that also kills Alzheimer's. Cures Alzheimer's. That's just so something that men would do. I'm surprised the boner pill doesn't also cure balding. It's going to just be like a cure-all for men.
Viagra's the COVID-19 pill.
Although I feel like this is what they're pumping Biden up with when he stops remembering what time period he's in and names. They're like, give him the Viagra pills. So he just has a boner taped to his belly this whole time. That's why he starts touching little girls' hair. You're welcome.
Everybody knows I like kids better than people.
Ew.
An explanation for all of it.
Creepy Joe Biden. This conspiracy starts here. He's pumped with Alzheimer's boner pills.
Well, they're not doing him much good, are they?
They seem to be keeping him
going.
Just, lucid enough. I think that Viagra should come out and advertise this, and they should be taking a rock hard stand against Alzheimer's. Viagra. There's going to be some TikTok challenge to raise awareness about dementia, and it's just going to be dudes taking freaking Viagra and showing off their boners. They'll be like, what? It's to raise awareness.
See my dementia.
Hey, we don't even get our own bathroom, and guys get a fucking Alzheimer's curing boner pill.
By 69%.
This is a man's world. Cue the James Brown song. Like, subscribe, and comment. Touch my bells and buttons. Make sure you tell your favorite uncle about our very wild show.
You're always talking about the favorite uncle, Bridget.
Because
People are
everyone
gonna
is a
start
creepy
getting
uncle who would love this show.
All right.
And our merch, which you can get at bridgetphetasy.com.
And if you don't have a creepy uncle, then the creepy uncle's your dad.
Oh, Sam. Let's take a minute to thank our sponsors, Sheath and Manscaped. Created by an Iraq War veteran to help keep his parts dry in the desert, Sheath underwear is all you need for your supportive ball giving needs. I love Sheath underwear. My husband's obsessed with Sheath underwear. Their revolutionary dual pouch system features a circular seamed urination hole within the kangaroo pouch that leads to an outer vertical pouch isolating not only the genitals from the inner thighs, but also the penis from the testicles. This is revolutionary, guys. And they also have a women's line where they have amazing sports bras for nice support, bikini briefs, and boxer shorts for ladies. This is a great gift for any type of holiday or birthday or really anything, but it's also just nice to have something that supports you around the house. in case, you're feeling let down by humanity. Go to sheathunderwear.com. Use the code DUMPSTER for 20% off your entire order. Link in the description below. Speaking of nuts, are yours a dumpster fur? Let us tell you what to do. Manscaped is your leading men's hygiene brand. You don't have to have hairy balls anymore that are all and like everything's kind of a disaster down there. As a plea from the ladies everywhere, have some pride in your nuts and in your pubic hair and get on board with Manscaped. Check out the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Inside, you'll find the signature lawnmower. It's an electric trimmer that has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology. My husband swears by this thing. He says he's tried a lot of them and never gets nicked or anything with this one. The performance package also comes with a crop preserver and crop reviver, which is an anti-chafing ball deodorant, moisturizer, and toner. This is really amazing, guys. Take those balls to the next level. And they also have body wash. They've introduced 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. So they're really expanding their line, which is great. Go to manscaped.com, use the code Bridget, and get 20% off your order and free shipping. Link is in the description below.
It keeps getting juicier. Jussie Smollett was found guilty on 5 out of 6 counts.
I mean, our justice system has been killing it lately, I have to say. They're like 3 for 3 in the past couple of cases that I feel, the ball, it did its job. We all knew he was guilty.
Yeah.
I'm just mad that we were robbed of the entertainment of this trial because even the closing statement sounds like it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. He's dumb enough to go into Obama's city and pretend there's Trump supporters running around with MAGA hats. Give me a break. That was his defense attorney telling the jury.
That was the closing statement. He was, in fact, that dumb.
You were murdered.
And he said he was that dumb. What's even funnier is how the media kind of was like, do. I was actually looking on my Apple News when the verdict came down for one story, and there was not one story when it came out on Apple News that Jussie was found guilty. Like, they must have felt so dumb.
Ugh.
The whole fucking media political complex bought into this shit and went all in. You had formerly Ellen Page, now Elliot Page, giving like her Oscar-winning speech on a late-night show where she got a standing ovation.
We have a media that's saying it's a debate whether or not what just happened to Jussie Smollett is a hate crime. It's absurd. The isn't a debate.
You had all those politicians, the libs of TikTok did that like spread of all the politicians being like, this hate crime can't be stood for. Normal people with common sense were like, meh, this sounds fishy.
Something's a little weird about this.
And given the evidence, it's kind of all against him.
The biggest bullshit that came out of this was the BLM statement. They came out in support of Jussie Smollett because he was, because of his work as a black man and what he's endured. I'm like, what about the fucking other 2 black men that he was friends with and did drugs with and like they jerked each other off and he fucking threw them under the bus?
Yeah.
And falsely accused them of perpetuating a hate crime.
Yeah.
What about them? BLM?
Their
Where's
lives
the
don't
support
matter.
for them?
What about their lives?
Oh, they're not famous enough for you? Sorry.
Yeah, they squandered a lot of goodwill on that. Not that they had very much left. Jussie's like, I can't pay you right now to hate crime me, but I'll jack you off and buy you a $5 sub.
$5 foot long.
This is fucking bullshit.
All right. Then we have what is happening. Jimmy Fallon recruits Ariana Grande and Megan Thee Stallion for a music video entitled It Was a Masked Christmas.
It's Christmas time. We'll be in line for a booster.
To encourage viewers to get their COVID booster.
I guess if you had told me the dystopia that we would live in would be controlled by tech lords and big pharma, I should have seen it coming, but I didn't see it coming. Like the media, big pharma, big tech complex uniting into just the dystopia that we are swimming in constantly is so unsettling, and having all of the left wing really carry water for the like big pharma. I grew up left wing. Hating big pharma was like hating conservatives.
It was the bread and butter.
was in my blood to hate Big Pharma and be distrustful of them. They got sued. Johnson, the place where I got my vaccine was recently sued for having like cancer-causing baby powder. And Pfizer was sued for something recently. And then all that, like every ad on frickin' CNN is sponsored by Pfizer. It's super creepy. And now you have all of these celebrities doing jingles. And just in that week that they announced Omicron, the 8 investors in Pfizer and Moderna made $10 billion each. Wake up, sheeple! This doesn't work either. These stupid little like celebrity jingles and having them all singing with like a weird toilet paper Grinch and
Yeah, it was like, what is this hellscape?
Don't know. This is going to work as well as Dare work to keep kids off drugs. In fact, if you want people to take the vaccines, perhaps you should just dare them not to. That seems to work better than whatever the fuck this shit is. It's crazy.
I don't know how they like shot this and made this music video and like ended it and we're like, yeah, look what the awesome thing we made was.
Because it's an echo chamber and they just have clapping seals being like, yeah, that was great, guys. All right, Jimmy. All right, Megan. All right. Megan Thee Stallion, what are you fucking doing? You're an embarrassment to all of
Your
counterculture.
fans. Yeah.
Like,
What
you're an
would Cardi
embarrassment
B
to being
say?
cool. Jesus Christ. You're up there stripping and this is like what you're doing in your spare time?
Now you're Jimmy Fallon's little henchman. What the fuck is
So
this?
weird. I liked you better when you're just a freaking stripper showing your butt on the Grammys. I guess Megan doesn't have a cousin's friend with swollen nuts like Nicki Minaj does.
Right, she's all for the vaccine.
This is just a desperate cry to prove your irrelevance. I'm pretty sure that Ariana is a fembot. I don't even actually think she's real. I think she's AI. I really think that if you open her face, there's like a whole machinery back there. Her skin is too perfect and she's too put together.
Her jawline is too perfect.
Everything. Oh, and I think all these people also drink baby blood and they're Illuminati. What's next?
Proof we're living in a simulation. A couple who met in the metaverse decided to get married in the metaverse.
This guy looks like Jeff Bezos.
He does. Did he design his avatar to look that way?
I don't know, but Metaverse DiCaprio is going to cuck this guy's wife. That's definitely happening. What a lame wedding.
Uh-huh.
And they met in Metaverse Vegas, I guess.
I guess.
Boy.
Yeah, they met in some like virtual
Conference.
Vegas.
Yeah.
But you thought like the lame kind of sad bottom feeding wedding was like the wedding where you go to Vegas. Now it's even like lower than that. It's the Metaverse Vegas wedding.
I don't know if it was actually a Metaverse Vegas wedding, but I'm sure those will happen too.
No, they had theirs like all over. It was
Yeah.
like, we can go to France. We can go to Australia. You're not going to any of those places.
You're just sitting there with
You're not
goggles on your
there.
face.
You have to know what it's. This is just for people who are freaking too cheap to pay for an open bar at their wedding. That's what this is really all about.
Get a virtual drink on us.
Yeah, get a virtual drink on us. And people, the freaking nerds have gone too far. This is what happens when you let people who haven't been laid in over a decade take over the world. This kind of shit, where we're all sitting in our chairs being like, "Doo, doo, doo, I'm flying to Australia first class." No, you're not. You're in a fucking chair in your shitty apartment and there's a cockroach crawling over the bread and on the freaking shelf. And you're like, "Doo, doo, doo. Oh, I'll have some champagne, please." It does seem like your grand conspiracy to like get us all in the metaverse.
Mhm. Well, and then there's the nice note in this article. Metaverse weddings are still not legal in real life yet.
So what's the point?
I don't know.
When are people going to be able to marry their meta pets? That's going to happen.
I bet.
Your service meta pet.
Don't worry, the furries will eventually take this over. They take over every space. They just take it over. Whenever there's a weird shit going down, the furries will be right behind you in the metaverse. We're all just going to be furries in the metaverse.
Oh, Lord.
Speak for yourself.
Let's take another minute to thank our sponsors, One Farm and Fume. One Farm produces plant-based products with organic ingredients sourced directly from the farmers that grew them. And they include CBD products made with organic hemp, and it's grown by them in Boulder, Colorado, the place where all hippie things that are good for you are grown. CBD is full spectrum, so it contains THC as well as other cannabinoids. And all products are third-party tested, which is very important. This amazing rosehip oil, which I love and use on my face, it's just a nice serum that you can put on. It gives you a nice fresh glow. The turmeric relief cream is incredible. This stuff is like a pain relief miracle worker. They also have the Vitality Boost and the Daily 8 Mushroom, which you can add to your coffee for an immunity boost. They have the organic extracts, which are just great. The CBD oil, they have cinnamon, peppermint, lemon, and natural flavors. They also have a whole line of products for your pets. Go to onefarm.com, use the code FIRE for 30% off your entire order, and the link is in the description below. Fume is the best way to quit smoking and vaping naturally. Fume is a Canadian-made, handcrafted wooden inhaler with no electronics and core is filled only with benefits of super plants. No smoking, no vaping, no gums, none of that gross alternative stuff that doesn't usually work. Fume naturally helps you with the hand-to-mouth replacement, and truly one of the most difficult aspects is just having that thing in your hand when you want to take a breath. There's the new 2021 limited edition holiday box. This is a great gift. It has unique, only to this box cores, snickerdoodle candy cane, eggnog cookies, and spiced orange. There's a limited supply only of these, as I mentioned, and each box is numbered X out of 1,500. So get on this. You can go to breathefume.com/Bridget. That's breathe, BREATHE. FUM.com/Bridget. Use the code Bridget and get 10% off your entire order or this holiday box. Link is in the description below.
Okay, the making of a eunuch.
This f***ing guy.
Prince Harry says quitting can be good for your mental health.
Oh, yes, it's great to take job advice from a literal prince. Who does this? Yes. Jobs can affect your mental health. That's absolutely true. But this is the kind of thing that somebody would say who's always had their baseline covered and has never had to struggle and wonder what it's like to come up with rent and have $7 in your bank account. Ever. It's like, you know what else doesn't help your mental health? Being poor. Being poor is horrible for your mental health. So is sitting around in your head all day with nothing to do because you quit your job. And all these people who are like, I don't like these jobs. They don't just, what was his exact quote? Like, you know, people are working jobs that don't bring them joy. Yeah, no, not everybody loves their job. Even people who I love my job. I love what I do. I know a lot of you in the comments are going to be like, what do you do? But I love what I do.
You're watching what she does.
Fair enough. But I love what I do. But there are elements of this that are pain in the ass and that are tedious and boring and that I don't always want to do. And that is just called making a living and doing things. That's just called life, folks. I hate to tell you, not every moment of your life is going to bring you joy. What are you, the Marie Kondo of work? Prince Harry? You're just like, oh, you don't like that job? Just throw it away. Just toss it in the garbage.
But when you lose your house and you can't pay your bills, don't get mad at me.
This is trust fund kid shit. I'm telling you. This is just like ridiculous. Yeah, his title is Chief Impact Officer, which is like basically just the corporate version of being an Instagram influencer. You're just a fucking influencer telling people to quit their jobs and basically go be like TikTok stars. And now there's a whole trend on TikTok called Quit Talk.
Oh,
I went down the rabbit hole.
Yikes.
So you didn't have to. And let me tell you, it's, first of all, mostly all white girls, which doesn't surprise me because they're the worst people to work with. Even when I was waiting tables, it was me and all Latina chicks. I was the only one who didn't speak Spanish. The white chicks would never show up. I was like the most responsible white chick that worked there. Denise, I was like, what's wrong with you white chicks? And I was like, we're lazy and entitled. And she's like, well, you're not lazy. Like, fair enough, Betty. Fair enough. Well played. On the Quit Talk, do they put the links to their OnlyFans at the bottom of their video? Because that's what they're all going to be doing. Get out there and have some uncomfortable work, you freaking people.
Deal with jobs you don't like so you have some empathy for people out there grinding away.
I get it. And some people they do have abusive bosses. Some of the people in these videos were showing alleged texts between them and their bosses sounded like pieces of shit. And I've worked for tons of bosses who have sexually harassed me and been douchebags and put up with a lot of stuff. But you know what? It made me a tougher human being. It made me resilient. You're not going to see me crying, reading my quitting speech on TikTok.
Well, she might cry at any minute, but that's just the pregnancy hormones. Beyond parody. Peloton is in damage control because of the Sex and the City reboot when Mr. Big dies from a heart attack while riding a Peloton and sends this company's stock prices plummeting.
This is the greatest story. First of all, Sex and the City is a garbage show, and I always hated it. Thank you very much. The end.
Seconded.
I never got on board. And people would be like, Bridget, you're a sex writer? She's a sex writer? Don't you feel? No, I hate that show. I hated it when it was popular when I was young, and all my girlfriends were like, let's go get martinis.
Oh, you're such a Carrie.
I don't care about shoes. You're such a Carrie. I don't care about shoes. If you needed any more proof that the stock market is a sham, it's shit like this.
For real. My God.
A fictional character dies and a company's real stock prices plummet.
That is beyond parody. And I'm sorry, spoiler alert, if we ruined the reboot of Sex and the City for you. People are going to be like, I can't believe you told us Mr. Big died. Your stock should go down. That show's trash to begin with.
Okay, so then the best part about this was the freaking statement Peloton released.
Oh, God.
They're like, I'm sure Sex and the City fans like me are saddened by the news that Mr. Big dies of a heart attack. Mr. Big lived what many would call an extravagant lifestyle, including cocktails, cigars, and big steaks, and was at serious risk as he had a previous cardiac event in season 6. These lifestyle choices and perhaps even his family history, which often is a significant factor, were the likely cause of his death. Riding his Peloton bike may even have helped delay his cardiac event.
Imagine having to make
Wow.
a statement like this as a corporation where you're going through the fictional history of a character that died to try and like spin what happened so your stocks don't crash.
How stupid are people that they are like losing faith in Peloton because Mr. Big died on
But
one?
also, how stupid is Peloton legal to not be like, how are you going to be using
Peloton.
us in your movie?
Right.
I mean, that's really bad. on
Like,
their
that's
part.
kind of the biggest question I don't know as a brand.
like
How are
there-
you using our products?
There's got to be some kind of lawsuit coming down the pipes here where they're like, this hurt our brand and you guys are such a... If Mr. Big, the actor, doesn't pivot to becoming a Peloton spokesperson and he's like, guys, I'm not really dead thanks to my Peloton.
I love my Peloton. Right. He could clean up and make a lot of money by becoming a brand spokesperson for them.
Guys, I'm not really dead thanks to my Peloton. Saved my life. You know what stock did go up? It was horse dewormer after seeing Sarah Jessica Parker's face.
Oh. Shots
I
fired.
know that's such a hack joke,
It is.
and I don't even care. Buy the fucking dip.
In Folds Wars with Sammy Flaps and Folds.
Dun, dun, dun.
Gay frogs. People in Sweden have already been getting microchipped, but now they're getting microchipped implanted in their thumbs that contain their COVID vaccine record so they don't have to carry their cards anymore.
The only chips I want from Sweden are chocolate chips.
And so now they've been using the chips to gain entrance into their homes, their offices, their gyms.
They've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
Sweden has been doing that. They're always like on the front lines of putting chips in their bodies.
Yep.
They are just the first people who are like, put a chip in me so you can track me. I guess they really trust their government in Sweden,
I guess so.
which is crazy. But apparently they have just a deep trust and they're lazy. They don't want to take out cards. They want to just swipe. It is the future. It's where we're headed. And it's going to get to the point where because of your chip and all of your preferences and all the algorithms, all the purchases you've made and every fucking part of your medical history is on this chip, you're going to walk by ads and the ads are going to change depending on what it wants to advertise.
It's like
to
in
you.
Minority Report.
Yeah. But they showed a video of a guy getting his chip implanted and like the needles, this thick, big needle that's just going right into the
That's
fat
why I'm not
cushion.
buying that there are microchips in the vaccines because I feel like the needle would need to be a little
Much
bit
bigger.
fatter.
A little bit bigger. Yeah.
And I think it's funny because your dog is tracked by you.
Sam.
Millie's on some board out there, and it's like, this woman is tracking me.
You have the like real-time dog tracking chip.
She sterilized me and put a chip in me.
She has a fee collar, FI. It tracks your dog with GPS.
She
if your dog
controls
runs
when I
away,
eat.
you can see where they are.
Sam is the Sweden of Millie.
I
Millie's
track her
out there
steps.
like, this is bullshit.
Your dogs are microchipped too.
Mine is not following her in real time.
No, neither is mine.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I don't
Until
track
you get,
his steps
until you
or
get a
his
fee
water
collar.
intake.
I just like giving you Anyway, we're all being tracked by our stupid phones. How dumb are you, sheeple?
I know.
Sheeple!
This is my microchip right here.
Sheeple! I'm going to start saying it like that. Sheeple! This episode is sponsored by I Trust Capital. By now, you've probably heard about cryptocurrencies, and if you haven't, you've been living in a bubble and we're worried about you. Like Bitcoin, you might have already started investing in them. Did you know you can invest in cryptocurrencies through your retirement account? With I Trust Capital, you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies in a crypto IRA and get all the same tax advantages as a traditional IRA. I Trust Capital allows you to invest in over 24 of the most popular cryptocurrencies, and unlike the stock market, you can buy and sell 24 hours a day. The I Trust Capital platform is easy to use, and it only takes a few minutes to create your account. Setting up an IRA is free, and I Trust fees are low. It's time to start taking control of your financial future. Join the tens of thousands of people who are already investing in cryptocurrency using their retirement accounts. As a special offer to our listeners, I Trust Capital is giving a $100 funding reward when you sign up at itrust.capital/fire. With iTrust Capital, you get tax-free trading, no sign-up fee, no monthly fees, institutional cold storage security, and now $100. Start investing with iTrust Capital today at itrust.capital/fire. The link is in the description below.
All right. Dumpster diving.
What's next? In the dumpster.
Wow,
Oh, that was an
careful.
aggressive dumpster
Like,
diving.
break your water with all that movement.
Don't say that.
Oh, God, no.
She loves dumpster diving. She's like, woo!
Fox News Christmas tree is set on fire.
The literal war of Christmas has begun right outside of Fox News. Did Tucker Carlson do this? I bet he did. I guarantee it was Tucker Carlson out there, and he was just like lighting the tree on fire. And he's like, the literal war on Christmas is here. It has come to our front door. These are the people who are coming for the Christians. You are all going to die. Get guns and ammo. That's how I interpret everything on Fox.
I love it.
I love how someone tagged you on Twitter and was like, would you call this a dumpster fur?
Ooh, I would call this a dumpster fur. I like that.
It's a good one.
All right, then we have camels banned from Saudi Arabia beauty contest after being found to have had facelifts and Botox.
I wonder if they can take it out of the hump and put it in the face like they can with humans.
Oh, hey. See what you did there.
Hey, the prize for this was $66 million, so I understand why people are doing all kinds of crazy shit to camels to make them beautiful. And I never thought of camels as like, if you were like, hey, what's the most beautiful animal? Very low on my list would be camels. They're freaking stinky and they make weird noises and
They
they're
spit.
yeah, they're mean. And then, but apparently they broke down like all of the different things that they judge, and it was quite
I
fascinating.
know, I liked the little chart they had in the article.
It was like the eyes have to be a certain like droopiness, and
And
they
the
have to have
eyelashes
a hump
need to be
that's
long.
closer to the back and long eyelashes. Those poor camels are going to be working on the freaking corners, trying to make ends meet.
The 40 that were disqualified.
Yeah, now that they can't get Botox.
Oh.
Imagine giving a camel Botox.
No.
At
And
what point?
facelifts. And facelifts.
I have been told that camel toes are a delicacy.
Oh, boy. Oh, man.
Then we have a man was attacked by a gang of otters and bitten 26 times.
I honestly didn't know otters were this mean. I didn't know they could like gang up and attack people.
Typically they're not, but this...
What was this guy doing?
It was
to the
in
otters?
Singapore Gardens or something like that, and a jogger ran basically through the pack and scared them, and so they tried to like attack the jogger, and then they just turned on this man who was walking by and attacked him too.
I mean, I get why they attack the jogger. What idiot runs through a pack of otters?
I don't think they attacked the jogger. I think
they tried to.
Oh, okay.
No, they tried to, and
But
then
he was running.
But he
away.
was
and the
jogger.
man was just
The other guy was like, dur, dur, dur.
He was like a 60-year-old man.
Oh, we're gonna come. We're gonna come to find out that 6-year-old man's favorite cologne was crayfish, though. Like, why did they just all start biting him? The otters were yelling, "This is MAGA country!" All right, well, this next story is for you, Luna.
All right. And then we have a man in Italy got arrested for attempting to use a fake arm when getting vaccinated.
Genius! Luna, when we were talking about this when she was doing my makeup, she's like, "My people are genius."
I know. She's like, I love my people.
I'm so proud. I don't have anything for this other than what the I just love how the nurse was like, I realized something was weird when I noticed there weren't veins in the arm. It's like, why? Why was that? You didn't notice like the arm itself was like felt like plastic? What kind of arm was that?
It wasn't warm or, you know,
yeah, it was like that there
mobile.
weren't veins. That was your first hint.
And that's weird to me too, because I'm like, you're giving a shot in the arm. It's not like you're giving blood where you're searching for a vein. I'm like, what?
Yeah, why are you looking for veins?
Are they injecting it in the veins in Italy? Is that why they're
whole
uprising?
thing is so weird. I love this guy though. He should be a national hero of Italy.
BDE right there.
Yeah, he is. He's Italian BDE award.
And then he tried to convince her to look the other way, but she didn't. She
like,
reported
no.
him.
I would have loved to have been in that conversation where he's like, just look the other way. Just pretend this never happened, all in Italian.
Allora.
All right, before we get into Breaking Bridget, like, subscribe, and comment. Touch our bells and buttons. Tell Maggie in the comments what you're going to do for Christmas or the holidays or whatever you want to call them. Are you going to light your family tree on fire?
Don't do that. All right, Breaking Bridget.
There is no bottom, it seems. No off-ramp to the mandates, to the craziness around all of the vaccination stuff. In New York City, Mayor de Blasio this past week announced more mandates for workers in the private sector, mandates for children 5 to 11. They need to be vaccinated to go to all indoor dining, fitness, and entertainment. Which is crazy because these kids have suffered enough and now they can't even go to a museum. And also he mandated that one shot is no longer enough. Technically, I'm not vaccinated in New York City anymore. You have to have 2 shots to be considered vaccinated. And this is why people are losing their minds. It only fuels a conspiracy theory. If you keep moving the goalposts and make it seem like there's no off-ramp to this, that there's never an end. You have to, in LA, Maggie was at a hockey game. You have to all prove that you're vaccinated, but then you have to wear masks the whole time. We were sold the idea of the vaccinations with the hope of getting the masks off. And now it's both. You need both. And it's because these vaccinations aren't working in the ways that they said they were going to work, which was allegedly you couldn't spread the virus if you got vaccinated. But, oh, whoops, they found out you can still spread the virus. It minimizes your effects of getting the virus, but it doesn't mean you can't still spread it all over the place. Now we have all of these conflicting messages. And in LA, about 34,000 LA Unified School District students have not yet complied with the vaccine mandate, 12 and up. By the way, I don't even think this is all kind of like resting on it being FDA approved, but I don't even think it has been yet. And there might not be enough time now for kids to even get vaccinated before the second semester. Like, do not tell me you care about the kids.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you care about these kids missed over a year of school in LA. And these kids in New York have suffered so much, and they closed playgrounds, they closed the school. And now you're telling me that 34,000 kids can't go back to school because they haven't been vaccinated? Like, that's supposed to help things? This is outrageous, and people are co-signing it. People who say they care about the kids and they care about all of the kids who are minorities or the kids who are vulnerable. And many instances, based on the statistical evidence of who's getting vaccinated and who's not in San Francisco and LA, it's predominantly people of color, and they're the ones who are going to suffer the most from this and lose out on school. And there's already an education gap in these populations. They already suffer in the summer because they don't have tutors and they don't have the resources, and their parents have to work through the whole pandemic. And now what are these parents going to do with their kids who can't go to school? And they're supposed to like learn remotely. Don't tell me you care about the kids. Don't tell me in New York. My friend Carol's leaving New York, and she was like, diehard New Yorker. I don't know where the off ramp is for any of this. And I want to yell too, because I went out to dinner in LA and they had to check my ID and my vaccination and all this shit. And I wanted to just stand up and I'm thinking of doing this just to maybe go viral because it would be hilarious. Just stand up in the restaurant and be like, you know we don't have to live like this, right? You know there are people in this country right now who aren't living like this. They're free. They're out there being free. They're in Texas. They're in Utah. They're in Florida. They're running free without masks. They don't have to check their vaccination passports. They're just living life like it was before the pandemic. And they have been for over a year. And just have a total meltdown and then blame it on pregnancy. I'll be like, it was the hormones.
She's pregnant, guys. She's pregnant. She's pregnant.
You know we don't have to do this. I mean, it is like more and more that joke of like, I could go rob a Nordstrom's, but I need to be vaccinated. In California, which is like the Wild West in some respects, and in other respects, like a total deep state dystopia.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's such a weird paradox that we're living. It almost feels intentional. And this is why I'm breaking. My mind is breaking. I have to get out of here. I regret and apologize for ever thinking the lockdowns were okay, acceptable. At the time, we didn't know anything. Everyone was freaking out. They were welding people into their freaking houses in China, and there were thousands of people dying in Italy, and it seemed like it was going to be horrible. And I learned a lot from that experience, mostly that you cannot trust the government with any more power than they already have, because they will not let it go. And I apologize. I'm grateful for the lesson, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jordan Peterson was on Joe Rogan, and he gave a great talk and speech about how do they even get here, and it's like by pushing just little by little, by pushing up, getting protests, ignoring it, pushing past that, and continuing to move and move and move. And we see this with these goalposts, we see this with these fucking mandates. 5 to 11 children need to be, they don't even suffer COVID. We know this from the science, that they get it like a cold. They're not even experiencing this in the same way. And yet everybody just is like, okay. And that's what's so freaking terrifying to me. Well, that's me, Broken Bridget this week. There's a place where people are free. The internet was incredibly glorious this week. There were so many good, funny things, and this is where I love the creativity. So cleanse your palate of the dystopia we are living in with these hilarious clips.
Jaden has $1 bill, 1 quarter, and 2 pennies. How much money does he have? Jaden broke.
Mami, quiebra la cintura y... Mami, quiebra la cintura y...
Phetasy News.
All right. We had Andrew Yang on Walk-Ins Welcome. That was a great episode. If you don't know who Andrew Yang is, he was a presidential candidate and a mayoral candidate in New York City. Just a really optimistic guy, and fascinating to talk to him about his leaving of the Democratic Party and the Forward Party. Check that out. Subscribe wherever podcasts are available. Andrew will be also posting it on his YouTube channel today, Monday, which is very cool. So check out his Forward YouTube channel. I was on Megan Murphy's podcast, The Same Drugs. Megan and I talked about life, drugs, recovery, love, a little bit of culture wars, but actually a very nice break from it. Megan's hilarious. She's a soul sister. I love her. Check her out. We are Dumpster Fire, the podcast. It's everywhere you can find podcasts, including Apple. So thank you, Maggie. And thank you for checking out Dumpster Fire, the podcast. Please subscribe. I guess it holds up. Some people say.
yeah.
I think you miss a lot of this insanity, but I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. We're on Rumble. We are very gladly on Rumble because after this episode, Lord knows that might be the only place we are. But you can check out all of our stuff there. It drops first on Rumble. Subscribe to Rumble. Support competition against these big tech monopolies that tell us they're not monopolies. Join the Phetasy community at Phetasy.com. You have access to live streams. You have access to workouts with me if you're a lady. And we post the unedited version of Dumpster Fire every Sunday. And you get to see all the behind-the-scenes craziness and fun and comments from Sammy Flaps and Folds and Maggie and the dogs. Never end. Us screaming at the dogs is mostly what it is, but it's also amazing. Shop our merch at BridgetPhetasy.com. All of your Christmas needs are there. We have big things coming, but for now, just get in there and get your merch. If you're a member of the fam, you get a discount code. So it's another reason to join our little community at Phetasy.com and get your discount code. Thank you to our sponsors, Sheath, Manscaped, Fume, One Farm, and I Trust Capital. We can't do this without people who support independent voices. We are very grateful for their sponsorship. You should support the people who support us. Get some Christmas gifts. Thank you to our supporters, our subscribers, and anybody who views this and laughs while the world burns with us. We appreciate you. Please share it with any of your friends who think they might appreciate just all of the insanity. And thank you, Andy Chandler, Matt Monroe, Dave Yates, Brent, Luna, and Better Phetasy. We cannot do this without any of these folks. They make Dumpster Fire great. Again. Thank you, Zen Pro Audio, for the juicy mic and all of the audio support. Get all of your audio needs met at Zen Pro Audio, another small business you should be supporting. And thank you, Maggie.
Thank you, Bridget.
And thank you, Sammy Flaps and Folds.
Thank you, Bridget.
And that's about it. This has been your Dumpster Fire for the week of December 5th to December 11th. I'm Bridget Phetasy. Now make me sane and rich.